All right, guys, so we're back, and it's very cold. We're actually at Caleb's house, Jeep Guy's house right now, because I wanted to do the first little part of the trip, like get the first couple hours out of the way, and then go from there. But it's cold here, like the entire ground is like frosted over. There's frost all over the M3, and this is definitely going to be quite the cold start. So let's go ahead and get in and see how this thing sounds. Hella cold. So this is gonna be my first winter with the car, so it shouldn't be bad or anything, but let's see. Got a gear and hit it. It literally sounds perfectly normal. So I'm going to put the defrost on and let that crank. Door. And now I'm gonna let it warm up for a bit, just so it can actually get some heat moving through the defrost, because I'm not gonna scrape that windshield off. And here's a little bit of cold idle sound. So interesting thing, so this rear tire and obviously the other rear tire both had an issue with the valve stems leaking air. And basically, we replaced both of them, and this one's been fine, and this one has leaked down just a little bit, not much, but enough to where it's like you notice it just a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna keep an eye on the passenger side rear tire specifically, on the drive up to Pennsylvania. But once we get there, I'll check it again, and I'll probably check it a couple times on the way. But other than that, everything is pretty solid. Now, the windshield has not started to defrost yet. It probably will in a minute. It probably will in a minute. But yeah, this should kick off the main leg of the trip. So it should be about 8.5 hours later, I will be in Pennsylvania. So yeah, I'm excited. M3 road trip is a go, officially. There it goes. Now the defrost is starting to work. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes, and then once I've got big enough like holes on the windshield to see through, I'll be good to go. All right, let's get back in the car now. And there's enough like open space on the windshield that I can see properly. It is 29 degrees Fahrenheit outside. And it's gonna be a cold one, a cold morning, but let's do this. Probably all you hear is vent. And now you probably can't see me, but that's okay for now. So basically how this is gonna go is I'm gonna give you guys periodic updates throughout the trip. Right now we're in North Carolina, and I'll probably update you guys again when we get into Virginia. We've got a little bit of like a tiny little drive in Tennessee, but that doesn't last very long. And in fact, depending on which route it takes us, we may or may not have that tiny little bit in Tennessee. So I'll update you guys again when we're about probably like a quarter of the way there. And then again, we're about like, you know, half to 3/4 of the way there. So the only thing that I'm not looking forward to about this trip is the way the temperature is going to drop the further north that we get. So, but we're gonna be doing it in the day, not the night. So that's kind of nice because we won't have as much of a temperature drop to deal with. But yeah, so this should be a good one. And I'm thinking that our first stop is probably going to be Walmart well, I don't know, either Walmart or like a grocery store or whatever, just to get a couple of snacks for the road, because I don't want to stop really for anything other than fuel, because I don't want to take a bunch of time when I'm stopping. So because I want to get there. Like normally when I do road trips, I like to, you know, like pack things to, you know, to have in the car, like food, drinks, and all that kind of stuff to have in the car, so that while I'm on my way, like literally the only thing I have to stop for is fuel. So I just pull in, get fuel, and then just get back out on the road again. So that's the plan, and let's go get some stuff to have in the car on the way there. Look at this. Like, just these mountains are crazy. right now we're on the edge of North Carolina, about to cross into Tennessee, on our way to Pennsylvania. So this is definitely one of those defining spots on the trip for me, just because I've done this trip probably like 6 or 7 times now. And coming over this mountain pass, looking onto all these hills, just kind of reminds me a little bit of the mountain highways out west, but at the same time, like, probably that's because of, like, this is one of the few mountain passes where not all of the mountains, like, or not all the mountainsides are covered in trees, but at the same time, like, you look over there and they're completely covered in trees. So it's kind of a mixture of the two. But our next exit is gonna be heading towards Bristol, Tennessee. So we'll be in Tennessee for a little while, and then I believe it's just on through Virginia, and we're in Virginia for most of the trip at that point. Oh, not gonna make that light. Nope. We gotta wait for the next one. So we are about to make our first fuel stop between North Carolina and Pennsylvania. Right now we're just outside of Roanoke, Virginia, and we found a Sheetz, so we're gonna pull in there. But yeah, we're gonna pull in there, and we're gonna get fuel, and then we'll see how far we go from there. To be honest, we might just be able to go all the way up. We might just be able to go all the way up from here. I'm not sure. I haven't done this trip in this car before, but I'm definitely curious. This car is awesome on the highway, so it just goes. Like, you can just put it in 6th, and you don't really have to downshift to pass people if you don't want to. It's got a healthy amount of torque, and it just works, man. It just works really, really well. This car, honestly, like, you can see why the E46 M3, and I can especially see, like, after liking them for a long time and then finally owning one, I can see why it's always been considered, like, the, you know, M3. Like, that was kind of like one of the peaks in this car's history, and I honestly, like, it's one of my favorite cars. Like, it seriously is one of my favorite cars. So we're gonna go ahead and pull in there, we're gonna get fuel, and then we're gonna get back out on the highway, and I'll catch up with you guys in a bit. Well, it's about 2:40 p.m. now, and we're still in Virginia. No surprise there. We're passing North River, well, or the North River, wherever that is. But we filled up in, let's see, we filled up in Roanoke, and, oh, can I make this? Please tell me I can make this. Sorry, bro, did not mean to cut you off. There was somebody in my lane going super slow. But I'm not sure how much longer we have left in Virginia. I know we're kind of getting towards the last bit of it, but I'm sure there's still more Virginia to go through than I think, because it's not exactly a short state. It never has been a short state, but it's one of those states where whenever you drive it on the highway, especially if you're going north, it just goes on and on and on, or at least it feels like it goes on and on and on and on. But yeah, we're not doing too bad here. So the car feels awesome on the highway. Like, it honestly is, like, it's so comfortable. It just kind of glides along, and the cool thing about it is that this car, again, is fully catless. It's got a agency power catless header, and I believe a Borla exhaust, a Borla catback, I want to say. And it's not droney in here at all. I mean, we're cruising along at like 75 miles an hour right now, and it's not droney at all. So that in itself is just amazing to me. Now, and the crazy part to think about is once you get to a twisty road, it becomes a ton of fun again. And I think that, you know, once I do some upgrades on this car, like some suspension, and a couple of other things, I really want to maintain that. I would really want to maintain that feeling of, you know, of comfort on the highway, while also being able to retain the kind of M3-ness in the corners. And that is, the fact that it's like so good on the highway is just amazing to me. I love that. By the way, just to comment on like the area we're driving through right now, like we're driving through this area right now that's got like just these, I don't know like how well you can see them, but like on the side of the highway, these massive like distribution centers. That's just like all it really is for like a good while, just like these shipping centers on the side of the highway. Let's see, where are we right now? Let's see, this is exit 243 for Harrisonburg. So, I mean, interesting countryside for sure. Definitely a lot more like, you know, a lot more like commercial machinery and stuff like that you see up here, like at least like dealership wise. You know, you see these like cat dealerships and like big truck dealerships and things like that. But I think it's just kind of, it comes with the area. There's two windmills over there. I don't know if you can see those. You probably can't, but I hope you can because they're kind of cool. But, oh, we are behind a truck again. And we do not have space to move over. We might in a second, but let's see. Yep, we got space. Okay, cool. But yeah, I know we're about 75 miles-ish from Winchester, Virginia, which is sort of getting close to the state line, getting close-ish to the state line. And then once we get out of Virginia, it's just a few more states to hop through, and then we're in Pennsylvania. So I'm super excited to get up there and see my family. And that's honestly, like, going up there and seeing my family is always such a highlight. It really is. I got to see my family up there like earlier in the year, and seeing them again, especially for Thanksgiving, is just, oh, let me get over, there we go. But yeah, being able to see them for Thanksgiving is just absolutely incredible. I love that. And I can't get over how excited I am, like, inside just to see my family, because you don't really think about that too much, like, when you're younger. Like, you don't really think, like, you know, once you get a little bit older and you're kind of, you know, just doing your own thing, and then like when the holidays come around and you're like, you know, especially when your family lives, you know, a decent distance away, you kind of get in that mindset where you're like, oh man, I miss these guys, I want to see them, you know what I mean? Like you get in that mindset where you're like, you know, you don't think you're gonna miss your family all that much, but it's one of those things where like you're gonna want to see him again, like, trust me. And it's always very, very special when you get to. It's incredibly special when you get to. But we are, let's see, I'm always like looking at the signs because like I obsess over that on road trips. And oh, by the way, I don't know if you saw on the dash earlier, the traction control light is on because, well, for the simple reason, I turned it off. You know why? Because just in case I got a yeet. But no, like, for real though, I generally just, like, it's a habit to get in the car and instantly turn the traction control off. And I just kind of, I didn't even think about it, turned it off, and then I was looking down on the highway and I realized, I was like, oh, traction control's off. Okay, I'll just leave it like that. But I think the best thing to do now is continue on, and I'll catch up with you guys when we hit probably either Maryland or when we get all the way into Pennsylvania. Ooh, S55 AMG. Well, we're in Pennsylvania. It's moderately dark now, and the reason why I have the camera facing forward is because you'll be able to see the lights ahead, but you won't be able to see me. We're gonna go ahead and get around this truck real quick. I love that about the torque in this car. You can just roll into sixth and pass people. Like, it's great. It's freaking great. But yeah, the last time I filled up was in Roanoke, Virginia. As you can see right now, we're like between half and a quarter ish. We're right between half and a quarter. And right now we're like probably 10 or 15 miles from where we're going. So I won't keep the video going on for much longer because it is dark and GoPros suck in the dark, and no matter how good the GoPro is, they still suck in the dark. But yeah, so we're in the home stretch, guys, so we're almost there.